Welcome to qnawire.
Hello there. For this question, they want us to of a traffic accidents. The county highway department recorded the following probabilities for the number of accidents per day on a certain freeway for 1 month. Um, the number of accidents per day and their corresponding probabilities are shown. So they want us to find the mean, variance, and standard deviation. So how we're going to go about this. So how you can solve the mean, you can solve the mean by writing the equation like this, where you have your x1 plus x2 plus how many numbers as part of your data set divided by the number of the data set to get your mean. Or if you have a calculator, a TI-84 calculator, you just click on stats and edit, and before you write down anything, just clear out whatever numbers you have and add in your points. And that's how you're able to get your mean, not only your mean, but your standard deviation. You get your means and your standard deviation that way. To solve your variance, there's two ways you can solve it, but you can set up your formula like this, but we're going to do certain things one at a time. So let's solve for our mean first, okay? So how we find our mean and standard deviation, you click on your stat button, you go to calc, then you go down and click the one variable stats, click enter, and then you see they got lists. Make sure it's under the list that you wrote down your data set under, and go down like 2 or 3 times on the button. And once you get down to calculate, press enter, and you will get your mean, which your mean should look something like this. This is how your mean should look. And when your standard deviation, since this is a sample size, we're going to go by SX, so this one will represent our sample size for our standard deviation. If you're doing something like with population, then you will focus on this one, because this is for your population. Just a little tidbit. So, okay, it won't let me erase this. Okay, it did let me erase. Okay, standard dev. Okay, so let's continue on. So for your mean should be 0.2. And when it comes down to your standard deviation, so if you have a calculator, you will have your standard deviation right there. If you don't, your standard deviation would be your sum of x minus your mean square, and this includes the number of variance, and this includes each of the numbers, so you might have to add the next one, and so on. And then you divide that by your sample, the number of your data set, minus 1, and that's how you get your standard deviation. So since if you did it on a calculator, your standard deviation should be 0.12. We'll just leave, or we could just kept it as 0. But if you want to round it based off the number of the mean that you see up there, you could also do 0.1, because I don't know how many sig figs your teacher wants. So now when it comes down to your variance, how you solve your variance is basically the square of your standard deviation. So basically you just square off wherever you have, or if you're doing it from your calculator, there's another way you could do it where you can click on second, and then click the stat button where you get your list, and you go straight across to math, and you go down the arrow button where you see your variance. You click on that, and then you click on your second button, and you click one of the buttons where you list your question, where you listed your data set. So I'm gonna click 1 because that's says it'll give me L1 because that's where I put my list at. And I click enter, and basically the square of that, my variance, is 0.015. And if you want to double check to make sure that you got it right, you can go onto your standard deviation, and you can just do 0.122 and do the square root of it. And that's how you get your 0.0. You'll get 0.014884, but then you round it, and that's how you get your 0.015. And yep, that is it. So yep, these are your answers. And I had two because I wasn't sure if they want, because I'm not sure how your teacher wants you to round it, if you got write like this, or you have to write it where you might have to do 0.02. So I don't know how your teacher wants you to do your significant figures, so I just show different options. And yep, that is it. I hope you found this very helpful, and please take care and stay safe. All right, bye.